The night my family decided I wasn't presentation worthy. Something inside me cracked so quietly I almost missed the sound. It started with a sentence, a clean, polished blade disguised as concern. Your sister wants everything to look perfect this year, and you showing up would make things awkward. That's what my mom said. No stutter, no hesitation. Just a smooth dismissal delivered over speakerphone while I wiped grease from my hands in the cold of my shop. I didn't argue. Didn't defend myself. I simply hung up, staring at the concrete like it might explain why being me had become such an inconvenience that I thought that humiliation would be the end of it. But I should have known better. My family never leaves things where they drop. The next morning they were pounding on my door. My name is Rowan Hale. I'm 29. A mechanic who spends more holidays under fluorescent lights than around dinner tables. People always seem surprised when they meet me, expecting someone rougher, harder. But I've got long dark hair, soft eyes I never learned to hide, and a face that still looks gentle even when I've got engine dust streaking my cheek. None of that ever mattered to my family. To them, I was the fixer. The utility. The invisible gear that kept their curated little lives running smoothly. In a family obsessed with reputation, I was the part they never wanted showing in the final picture. Growing up, my mother polished our image like it was her religion. Smiling photos. Matching outfits. Scripted charm. And my younger sister, Ilara, fit that world perfectly. Golden, graceful, the kind of person people naturally orbit. She entered rooms like a spotlight already waited for her. I was the backdrop. Useful but never worth displaying. So when Mom cut me from Thanksgiving, it didn't shock me. It just stung in that slow, familiar way, like pressing on an old bruise. But the next morning when I opened my front door, the cold air wasn't the first thing that hit me. It was the fury. My mom, my dad, Ilara, and the boyfriend she apparently wanted to impress more than her own sister. They were all crowded on my porch, breath fogging in the winter air, eyes sharp with accusation. Mom didn't even greet me. Why did you tell people we uninvited you? She demanded. I didn't tell anyone. You must have. Your grandmother called us. Embarrassed us. That word again, embarrassed. The compass they lived by. My dad chimed in with a sigh heavy enough to crush a spine. You always twist things, Rowan. You always make us look bad. Ilara crossed her arms, her coat pristine ivory, like she'd never touched anything that could stain her. You're being dramatic, she snapped. You know how stressed I am. Why would you do this now? I hadn't done anything. But their version of reality didn't have room for mine. Then her boyfriend stepped forward. Archer Vale. Clean-cut, structured jaw, the type of man Ilara would practice perfect smiles for. He wasn't angry. Just puzzled. Wait, he said slowly, looking at me. Rowan Hale? The one who rebuilt that '69 Nova? The restoration people were raving about online. The porch went still. My family looked at each other like he'd just spoken in another language. Mom's face drooped. Dad's brows pulled together. Ilara blinked like someone had switched her script mid-scene. You follow her work? She asked, disbelief dripping from every word. Archer nodded. She's talented. Really talented. It felt like the first time someone had ever looked at me without filters, without expectations, just truth, and my family hated it. They scrambled to recover, but their words turned brittle, desperate. That's nice, Mom forced out. But we're here because we have responsibilities to discuss. Responsibilities. The chain I'd been dragging behind me my entire life. Dad cleared his throat. The roof's leaking again. We need you to look at it today. Ilara added. And I need money for a holiday event. It's important, Rowan. Can you send it by this weekend? I stared at them, stunned. You're asking me for favors? After uninviting me? Ilara rolled her eyes. This is different. Don't make this into something weird. Mom lifted her chin. Family helps family. Don't forget that. The irony hit so hard I almost laughed. They hadn't come to apologize. They'd come to collect. Archer's expression shifted, something sharp and disgusted cutting across it. You're serious? He asked them. Dad barked. Stay out of this. This is family business. But Archer didn't step back. He looked at me like he was seeing years of patterns in a single moment. Is this normal for them? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. And Ilara snapped. For God's sake, Rowan, just do it. Don't make us look stupid. There it was. The truth of it all. Something inside me settled. Not anger. Not grief. Just certainty. No, the word left me calm. Clean. Like a blade sharpened on silence. Mom blinked. What did you say? I'm not fixing your house. I'm not paying for events. I'm not saving you from your own chaos anymore. Dad's voice thundered. After everything we've done for you? You mean feeding me when I was a child? I said. That was responsibility, not debt. The air shifted. Heavy. Electric. Archer let out a breath, almost relieved. Good for you, he murmured. Elara rounded on him. Why are you taking her side? Because she isn't wrong. The balance shattered. My family stormed off my porch in a whirl of indignation, their footsteps crunching through the snow like fractures spreading through old ice. I closed the door. For the first time in my life, it felt like a victory. Winter settled around my shop as December crept closer. I hosted a small Christmas Eve dinner for the people who actually valued me, my coworkers, neighbors, the teens I taught weekend repair classes to. The garage glowed warm with string lights. Laughter echoed off the walls. For once, I belonged. And then the doors slammed open. My parents and Elara stormed inside, snow swirling behind them like a furious halo. Mom's voice was venom. You humiliated us. Everyone is talking about how you abandoned Thanksgiving. Dad jabbed a finger toward me. You think you're better than us now? Elara's mascara streaked down her cheeks. Archer left me. He said he needed space from me. From us. Because of you. Before I could speak, Archer appeared behind them, stepping into the light like the storm had spit him out. She didn't make me leave, he said. Elara whirled. Why are you here? Because I wanted somewhere honest to spend Christmas Eve. His eyes lifted to mine. Somewhere real. My mom gasped. She didn't pay our bills. She didn't fix everything. Tell him, Rowan. Tell him you didn't carry this family. I walked to my workbench, opened a drawer, and pulled out a thick envelope, the one I'd been filling quietly for years. I handed it to them. Inside were every receipt, every transfer, every emergency fix I'd ever covered. Dad's face drained of color. Mom's lips trembled. Elara's breath hitched. You kept track, Mom whispered. No, I kept boundaries. You just kept crossing them. The room fell silent. Dad's voice wavered. You'll regret this. I shook my head. No. I regret letting it happen for so long. Archer stepped closer to me. Elara stared at him, desperation breaking her voice. Please come home. This isn't who we are. He looked at her with a sadness that felt final. It's exactly who you've always been. Her face crumpled, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one trying to fix it. I opened the garage door wider. Leave, I said. And they did. Snow swallowed them, erasing their shapes until all that remained was the storm. Archer turned to me gently. Are you okay? I nodded. Because for the first time since I could remember, my chest didn't feel heavy. The family I'd chosen drifted back into conversations, laughter slowly rebuilding the warmth in the room. Archer squeezed my shoulder once before heading out into the night. You built something beautiful here, he said. Don't let anyone take it. In the weeks that followed, the silence from my parents wasn't punishment. It was relief. Work picked up. The teens returned. The garage stayed bright, warm, full of life. And for once, the future felt like mine. A year later, I stood in the snow outside my shop, lights glowing behind me, and realized something simple and freeing. I didn't lose a family. I finally stopped carrying one that was never really mine. If you've ever had to walk away to save yourself, you're not alone. Tell me your story in the comments. And hit subscribe, there's more to come.